Hey, come on into the room. Come on in. I've got a word for you. This is Pastor Darren Lamont Edwards, lead pastor of United Believers Community Church in Kansas City, Missouri. Thank you for joining me in another virtual Bible lesson. Your new now. Can we talk for a moment? Are you stuck in your new now? Are you comfortable with it? Are you upset about it? Are you discouraged by it? But whatever you feel, the fact is, you're in a new now. And I want to bring you comfort, and I want to challenge you to find the strength and the wisdom you need so you're not stuck where you are. But the fact remains, you're in a new now. This is a now that's new, but you're with a God that's not new to the now that you're in. So though it's a new now for you, it's not a new now for God. That this aged God is going to help you with the strength and the wisdom you need as you navigate your new now so you don't feel so stuck and challenged and life is not so complicated and you're not so confused. So I want to couple this lesson with faith and feeling. I don't want to disregard your feelings, and that's not where I am, because your feelings are your feelings. But the fact of the matter is, God is going to move you, some gently, some with a powerful push. Others he walks alongside, some he leads. But you're going to get to what God has next for you. But you have to speak out loud right now. I'm embracing my new now. I've had to do it. And the loss of a dad, the loss of a big brother. You've had to do it, and loss and challenges in your life, haven't you? You've had to do it when you changed jobs, right? You've had to do it. You move cities or perhaps transition to a different church, or staying with where you are. You find yourselves all the time navigating a new now. But here's where God steps in. You're not meant to stay stuck in your nowness. I know that's not a word. It's a word I made up, but it's a good word right there. So I took a long introduction to say, will you call somebody, text somebody, tell them it's a virtual Bible lesson with Pastor Darren Lamont Edwards, lead pastor of United Believers Community Church in the beautiful city of Kansas City, Missouri. So we can find strength and wisdom to deal with our new now. Let's go. So in the space between no longer and not yet is where you are. Many people live between no longer and not yet. And you're somewhere in the middle of that. It catches most of us by surprise. That's why it stings. Life is going along the way it goes along, and suddenly we find ourselves at a crossroad of what was and what's yet to be. We praise in the new now. We sing in the new now. I preach in the new now. Can I get a drink of water? But God is present to help us. There it is. To discern what season is coming our way next. God is here with us so we can stop feeling lost in life. God is with us to project and protect the future that he has for us. But you got to embrace, ladies and gentlemen, your new now. One way to do it is a daily acknowledgement of where you are. The moment you do that, it'll help us to stop holding on to the past or fearing the future. Sometimes we do both, don't we? Sometimes we want to hold to the past that we know is no longer there. Sometimes we just fear the future that hadn't even arrived yet, and I'm in my now, and I'm fearing both ends. I've got to learn how to embrace my now. Let's go further. So those are my markers in the book. And I want you to take a screenshot of that with you. And you'll see some of the things I've been reading I want to share with you in a helicopter ride through the book. You know, we plan what we want life to look like. We create 5-year vision plans. We create vision boards. We think we know where it's all headed, don't we? And then boom, the bottom falls out. Ready or not, here it comes. But child of God, when your middle ground becomes your battleground, you got to fight for your future. You're in between that not anymore and you're not yet. And you're in your new now. That new now is a battleground. But you got to fight to move forward. You got to stop looking at the blurriness of what was and the hazardous of what is may be coming or what you think may be coming. And deal with a strategic battle plan for where life is right now. Can I encourage you and tell you you're equipped for this battle? Can I remind you that God will give you what you need in your now? He can do that for you. Let me show you how. So first thing is understand you are not lost. You're just learning the new way. You're not lost. I'm here to tell you you are not lost. You're just simply learning a new way. Can I tell you something else? When we know something is finished, it doesn't have to end ugly. Sometimes friendships are finished. Sometimes relationships are finished. Sometimes situationships are finished. Sometimes just transitions in life are finished. But everything doesn't have to end ugly. It can end beautifully and peacefully. There doesn't have to be this public declaration, and it can be a quiet place where we say, God, I surrender the season to you, and I'm ready to move on. I was just sharing that with a pastor. I'll leave the city and place nameless. And I was speaking to that pastor, telling that pastor and sharing with members of that church that embrace that the season is ended and it doesn't have to end ugly. This can be a moment that's beautiful and peaceful when both of you agree it's just a season to move on. Surrender the season to God. Celebrate the great time that you had together. But to surrender the season to God and move on. Embrace that new now. I know it's scary. I know it's tricky. I know you got to move on to a not yet. But embrace this season to stop and say, Lord, it doesn't have to be bad. There's a lot of good that happened. Let's go. So feeling lost isn't a location where we wait to be found. It's a destination we need to be rescued from. Feeling lost, I just need you to rescue me. You remember that song? Rescue me, would you get me? Would you get my back? Rescue me. Would you take my call when I start to crack? Would you rescue me? Would you rescue me when I'm by myself? If I need your help, would you rescue me? You remember the song? Rescue me. Would you get my back? Rescue me. Would you take my call when I start to crack? Would you rescue me when I'm by myself? If I need your help, would you rescue me? Now, you can shout that out to a friend, but I know one person, if you turn that song into a prayer, God would rescue you. So if you're in a place right now where you're feeling lost, understand that's not a location where you're waiting to be found. I'm just going to stay here until somebody figures out I'm in a lost situation. No. It's a destination we need to be rescued from. God, pull me out of this. Rescue me, God. Elijah at the brook. Who told you to do that? Get out that cave. Come over here by this river. Refresh yourself. Eat, sleep. Let me rescue you. Let's go. So here are 4 clues. Your season is finished with something. Number 1, what once made you feel free is now constant frustration. That's when you know the season is finished. Number 2, there's consistent conflict around this situation, and it's an unsettling place in your soul, and you can't seem to find any resolve with it. Number 3, you are out of ideas on how to keep things moving forward. You've exhausted all of your options, conversations, and ideas. Number 4, God is showing you something in this situation that you look at and think it shouldn't be this way. When you look at those 4 clues that the season in this situation or situation you found yourself in is over, which one would you put into the chat box? Or which one in your mind would you mentally say? Or would you say, hey, Pastor Edwards, I've experienced 1, 2, 3, and 4? Or would you say, in right now, the state that I'm in, Pastor Edwards, here's the number I see right now for myself. Seasons change, but God doesn't change. So in the final analysis, church, in the final analysis, my friend, in the final analysis, my viewers who are watching, here it is. Learning to finish seasons well is hard. And there is a tension in the transition space between finishing well and starting something new. There's a lot of tense in that. But remember this, God does not work through one opportunity, one organization, one person, or one season. God is always on the move. So as Henry Blackaby says in Experiencing God, find where God is moving and join him there. He's not stuck at one opportunity. He's not stuck at one organization. He's not stuck in one church. He's not stuck with one pastor. He's not stuck with one person. He's not stuck in one season. God is always moving, always up to something. People change, but check it, check it, check it. You change too. But the growth and maturity of our faith isn't something to be second guessed. And there are times in our life where we must look at a situation and decide, I am finished with this place in my life. And may I submit, when Jesus died on the cross, he closed the chapter, didn't he, in his new now. He was stuck there, wasn't he? It looked, and he said, it is finished. He didn't say, I'm finished, like we do. He said, it is finished. The work he came to do. And ultimately, he closed the chapter so he could write a new chapter called Grace. And so, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I want to experience the space of grace. Maybe you're at a point where you say, I need to close this chapter so God can write a new chapter in my life. How many more pages are you going to write in a chapter you know that's finished? Just write the end. And I know, boy, that'll make you cry, because it's painful to write that. I'm not being light on feelings. I get it. I got to write the end. Somebody I've been married to for 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Man, that hurts. I've got to write the end to the loss of a child or a loved one. I've got to write the end, Pastor Edwards, when I've been on this job and they won't give me my pension or they're holding back my retirement. And you're telling me to write yeah. I'm not discounting the feelings. I'm just trying to not to have you stuck in a place where God wants to give space for grace in this next new chapter of your life. Hey, I hope I put something on your mind. This is not an easy subject, but it's a grace-filled subject if you receive it. Hey, it's been Pastor Edwards in our time of discussion. I pray you've enjoyed it. Let's talk about it. Until next time.